Okay, we're ready. Your Ben Joravsky Show for Wednesday, May 15th is moments away. But before we get into that, we would like to thank the following unions for jumping on board and bringing back the Ben Joravsky Show. First up, it's the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, Local 126 in District 8. Shout out to them. How's it going, guys? Also, a big thank you to the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 9, and the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 150. A big thank you to those unions for jumping on board with us once again and bringing back the Ben Joravsky Show. Couldn't have done it without you guys. Big thank you. And also, a big thanks to the Chicago Federation of Labor. How's it going, Bob Ryder? The Ben Joravsky Show starts now. It is Wednesday, May 15th. And live from the Chicago Sun-Times Chicago Reader Studio on Racine Avenue, this is the Ben Joravsky Show. Today on the program, legendary Chicago journalist Monroe Anderson returns. We welcome progressive political guru Justin Horwitz and its preservationist, Andy Schneider. And now your host, somewhat of a preservationist, Chicago Reader columnist, Benny J. Ben Joravsky.
Hello, everybody. Ben Joravsky here. We're calling this Tally Up the Total Wednesday. And here's why. In her effort to eradicate what she considers to be the greatest problem facing Chicago, Lori Lightfoot made an astounding claim in an interview with WBBM Radio. That's News Radio 78, D. All right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay? It's like traffic on the ones, right?
Time for traffic, weather in Pritzker. Rom, Pritzker, traffic, weather, Rom, Pritzker. WBBM, we'll be right back.
That WBBM, you know, my mom used to listen to it all the time. I used to hear it when I would wake up in the morning. News Radio 78.
Weather, traffic, Pritzker, Rom, weather, traffic. We'll be right back. WBBM. We didn't hire Dennis.
Right.
I applied there. They didn't hire me.
Yeah, BBM. Your loss is my gain. Sorry, suckers. The BBM responds, oh, yeah, Ben? Well, we interviewed Lori. Take that.
Traffic coming up, Ben. And weather.
Okay, so let's tally it up. BBM got Lori Lightfoot interview, but I got Dr. D. I win. All right.
That was nice of you.
Yeah, anyway, all right. So they interviewed, she had an interview with WBBM News Radio 70. Focus, Ben, focus.
Please.
All right. Anyway, so it had to do with automated prerogative, and I think I'm going to take another little dive on this subject. I know what you're thinking. You're like, oh, man, do we got to hear about this again?
Oh, you read my thoughts exactly.
All right, listen, this is what I say to the rest of you. Shut up and eat your broccoli. This is good for you, okay? All right, these are issues. Learn them. Okay. All right, anyway, one more time. Aldermanic prerogative is the practice of giving aldermen control of everything and anything that goes on their ward, including zoning. It doesn't really exist, as we all know, because the mayor generally has the say over the big issues and just lets the aldermen have the say over the little issues that nobody really cares about. And yet, Chicago pretends super big deal and they got to solve it. This is part of a larger problem, folks. This is why we have to study this. The larger problem is that people in the city of Chicago believe in myths. They believe in things that aren't true, like TIFs don't raise taxes. Ben, they don't. I swear. My alderman told me they don't, and I believe anything my alderman says.
That's what my alderman said.
Yeah, well, that must be true. If your alderman said it, your tax bill keeps going up. But the alderman says TIFs don't raise taxes. Oh, must be some kind of mistake there. The other thing people in the city of Chicago largely believe is that their mayor is wise and infallible. Yeah, our mayor. He must be great. Otherwise, why would we have elected him as our mayor? Anyway, they believe in myths, people, because the difficulties of changing things are just so taxing, so difficult, so hard. Forget it. I'll just believe in a myth. In this way, Chicagoans, you're not that much different than Trump voters in Wisconsin. So stop acting like you're better than the Trumpsters. All right. Anyway, Lori said this. She said it at WBM News Radio 78, but it was quoted in my Sun-Times. If you look back at the history of all aldermen who've been charged with crimes, the one unifying thing is consistently the exercise of aldermanic prerogative. I would have thought that it's just greed, graft, and the transactional mentality that's bringing us all down. Not just aldermen, but people who work for the city in general, people in the Trump administration. Can we blame aldermanic prerogative for the crimes and the misdemeanors of people in the Trump administration, D? Huh? Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Anyway.
You're on a roll here.
But to determine whether that was scientifically accurate, what Lori Lightfoot told News Radio 78, WBBM News Radio.
Weather, traffic, weather, Rom, Pritzker, Rom, Mayor Lightfoot. We'll be right back. WBBM.
Didn't hire Dennis. Don't forget that part of the story.
Don't be hiring me now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, ring. Yeah? Oh, he's right there. You want to interview him? Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes. To determine the validity of Lori Lightfoot's statement, I decided to do a little mathematical dig. Just call me Dan Biss, all right?
Boy. I was so close to getting him on the show, and you just ruined it with that.
Dan Biss, of course, is the Democrat who ran for governor in the primary 2018, and his great claim to fame, he's really good at math, okay? So anytime we have a vexing math problem, we just say it. We're searching for our inner Dan Biss. All right, here we go. There are 5. Count them 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 aldermen currently in hot water right now.
Your heart out, Dan Biss. We counted to 5.
By the way, Dan, there are 50 aldermen in the city council. 5 are in trouble. That means, I'll do the math, 10%. How about that, huh?
Whoa.
Man, Biss is like, damn, he's good. Well, I went to Evanston High School, Dan. Anyway, all right, here we go. There's 5 in trouble. All right? Now let's count them out. Let's see if they're all in trouble for alderman prerogative crimes. Well, let's see. There's Willie Cochran. On one hand, he got in trouble. He's the former alderman. Well, he's currently the alderman of the 20th Ward, I believe. Maybe he's the former alderman. I don't know. Jeanette Taylor is the alderman-elect. Anyway, it doesn't matter. 20th Ward, South Side. He got in trouble. On one hand, he was shaking down a businessman who wanted to do business in the ward, so that's trouble. On the other hand, he was stealing money or allegedly stealing money from charities and spending it at casinos. That's not really alderman prerogative. We'll say half and half, all right? Then you got Ed Burke, the all-powerful chairman of the Finance Committee. He's in trouble for shaking down, can't believe this, shaking down a Burger King franchisees who he's trying to force into hiring him, Burke, to handle his property taxes. On the other hand, he's in trouble for basically what? Shaking down absolutely every single business that operates in the city of Chicago, regardless of whether in the ward or not. So I say the bigger problem with Dan Burke is that he's allowed to have a conflicting interest.
Wait, you said Dan Burke.
Did I say? Let me rewind that. Ed Burke, the bigger problem with Ed Burke is that he's allowed to have a property tax appeal business that's a conflict of interest as head chairman of the Finance Committee. So once again, half alderman prerogative, half not alderman prerogative. Then we moved to Danny Solis. Oh my God, I took the Dan from Danny and the Burke from Ed, put it together.
We'll get there.
Danny Solis is in trouble right now, folks. So he's the guy wearing the wire on Burke, collecting all the goodies on Ed Burke, and he was in trouble. We don't really know why he was in trouble. We don't know why. They haven't come clean as to why the feds forced him to wear the wire on Burke. It has to do with swapping favorable zoning approvals for Viagra. Remember that, D? He was the one who took the Viagra.
These guys sound like sweethearts.
So I don't know. That was in light with, that's in his responsibility as the head of the zoning committee, the zoning committee. So yeah, I'll give it. You know what? I'm so generous. I'm going to give you half for alderman prerogative and half for just being sleazy. All right. Then we move to Dennis's favorite alderman, Proco Joe Moreno. I know you're a huge fan of Proco Joe Moreno.
I know.
What
can I say?
He's a super cool hipster alderman from the 1st Ward who's in trouble for filing a false police report, as I understand. Is that what he just had his mugshot? I saw it. He's taken into custody. That has nothing to do with alderman prerogative. One, for not alderman prerogative. It just has to do with being sleazy. And then Rick Munoz. What can I say about Rick Munoz? Old friend of this show, really. Rick has taken a sad turn the wrong way. He is in trouble on so many levels. Domestic battery, some serious domestic battery accusations. And also, he was accused of pilfering money from the Progressive Caucus Fund and spending it on sex toys. So no alderman prerogative anywhere near. So I'm now going to do a Daniel Biss totaling up.
Okay. Carry the one. Carry the one.
This is hard because there's fractions. I got to add fractions. Biss can't handle fractions. 3.5 to 1.5. 3.5. Not alderman prerogative. 1.5. Alderman prerogative. Lori, I hate to say it. 3.5 is more than 1.5. You do not need to be Dan Biss to know that. Folks, it's time to find a new scapegoat. We got a great show today, everybody. Monroe Anderson will be here any moment now that he's heading into town. Monroe Anderson, of course, the veteran journalist, knows everything about Donald Trump. Remember his last prediction, Trump would be out of office by the 4th of July? Not looking good for Monroe Anderson. I hope he didn't put money down in Vegas. But he'll be here talking Trump, and more Trump. We'll continue the Trump conversation with Justin Horowitz. The man knows absolutely everything about the internet. Okay, so we're going to talk about Trump, and the internet. Lots of good stuff.
He can give you some lessons.
He sure can. No, Justin Horowitz is a political geek of the greatest proportion. Looking forward to talking politics with Justin Horowitz. And finally, Andrew Schneider will be here at 2:30. Mr. Preservation in the city of Chicago, knows all the history of all the landmarks, really knows a lot about Logan Square. We're probably going to take a deep dive in Logan Square, and he knows all these great stories about Chicago's past and the need to preserve landmarks and the need to preserve our history before we eradicate it. So looking forward to a good conversation with Andrew Schneider. Plenty of political talk ahead, but before we do any of it, the young doctor has the news.
Hey guys, I'm Dennis. Let's begin with the national news happening this afternoon. Our president, Donald Trump, gave a speech today at the National Peace Officers Memorial Service. He spoke on public officers killed in the line of duty and said the perpetrators of ambushes on police should, quote, get the death penalty. Here's the quote from Trump. The ongoing attacks on our police must end. The trials of perpetrators should go fast, and added fair but fast.
Wow. Fair but fat. It's really, it's clearly an attempt by Donald Trump to stir up his base with these comments. Interesting thing, fair but fast when it comes to throwing people who've been accused of murder through the system, whether the evidence is there or not. But, oh my God, when it comes to investigations of himself, it's a witch hunt. When it comes to investigations of anybody who is on his side, it's a witch hunt. So it's really interesting the interpretation that Donald Trump has about criminal justice, the faith he has in criminal justice system when it comes to determining whether somebody is guilty of murder, and when it comes to determining whether he himself is guilty of what, cutting deals with Russia, obstructing justice. So I think Donald Trump has two standards, one for him and one for everybody else.
In other news, and this is major, Tuesday night, Alabama passed the nation's strictest abortion ban, outlawing the procedure for women and making it a criminal offense for physicians, except in cases where the woman faces fatal complications. In the first few months of 2019, 6-week abortion bans have been signed into law in 4 states: Mississippi, Kentucky, Ohio, and now Georgia. Tennessee, Missouri, South Carolina, Florida, Texas, Louisiana, and West Virginia are considering similar proposals. This bill in Alabama, though, still must be signed by the state's Republican governor before it becomes law. Civil rights groups have already promised a lawsuit against this, and some very key Democratic figures have weighed in as well. Let's read the quotes here. First, the Democratic POTUS candidates. Here's California Senator Kamala Harris. She said, quote, outrageous news coming out of Alabama. This law would effectively ban abortions in the state and criminalize doctors for doing their jobs, providing health care to women. Senator Elizabeth Warren weighed in. She said, quote, this ban is dangerous and exceptionally cruel, and the bill's authors want to use it to overturn Roe v. Wade. I've lived in that America, and let me tell you, we are not going back. Not now, not ever. We will fight this, and we will win. Here's Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar. She said, quote, this bill in Alabama is effectively a ban on abortion. This is wrong. This is unconstitutional. So those are the candidates here. We got one more here. Candidate in New York, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand. Well, she's heading to Georgia to rally against near total abortion bans. So not really a quote, more of an update. And finally, former First Lady and 2016 presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. She weighed in here and said the abortion bans in Alabama, Georgia, Ohio, Kentucky, and Mississippi are appalling attacks on women's lives and fundamental freedoms. Women's rights are human rights.
Yes, I can't remember. I think it was Pelosi that quoted it, said it was an attempt to overturn Roe. And just follow this, folks, how this works. So you have these red states like Alabama and Georgia. passing these extreme anti-abortion bills that are effectively outlawing abortion and making it criminal practice for doctors. So doctors are facing jail time. Now, it's interesting they don't make it a criminal practice for the woman who gets the abortion. I guess they've done a poll or a survey that said that's going too far. So this is all driven by pollsters, folks. There's not like principles at stake here. It's poll driven. So they're going to make the doctor face criminal charges, but not the woman. But they're going to make the woman carry the child, even if it's rape or incest. Figure that one out. Figure that one out. So anyway, here's the deal right now. These laws, if the Alabama law gets signed by the governor, I don't think she signed it yet, has she? I don't believe she signed it yet. But if it gets signed into law, then immediately the pro-choice movement will file some federal lawsuit seeking an injunction to prevent it from being implemented. I'm sure they'll get the injunction, and then the matter will be processed through the courts. It'll eventually make its way to the Supremes. Right now, you got Brett Kavanaugh and Neil Gorsuch appointed by Donald Trump, ready to do whatever they're told. And so the anti-abortion foes are feeling really strong that with Kavanaugh and Gorsuch on there, with Clarence Thomas on there, and John Roberts, that they can get the 5 votes they need to overturn Roe, and that's their strategy. So they're going to be as outrageous as they can, propose laws that imprisoning doctors for performing abortions, that's pretty outrageous, that's pretty extreme, and the whole point is to force, again, Planned Parenthood and the other pro-choice advocates to take it to court in the hopes that Kavanaugh and Gorsuch will join the other conservatives on the bench to overturn Roe. So that's their strategy, D. That's what they're up to. That's why we say it once, we say it twice, we say it 3 times. Winning the presidency is really important because it comes down to who the presidents appoint to sit on the bench. And they're hoping that Kavanaugh and Gorsuch do the dirty work for the anti-abortion forces.
So there you are. Quick update on the national news. We'll keep you posted on this as today's program rolls along, people. We are moving on. And coming up after this short little break, we are going to find out what's going on locally. We're going to find out what else is news. Stick around. Read the Chicago Reader to get up to speed on what's what in Chicago. Culture, food, arts and entertainment, weekly concert listings, weekly event listings, the environment, travel. I can continue, but you get the point. And for all of you Chicago political junkies, raw weekly columns on real city politics from Maya Dukmasova and our very own Ben Joravsky. The Chicago Reader, free to the public.
Legalize marijuana movement was just starting to get traction in Illinois. Rahm said absolutely not, under no circumstances would he join with the movement to legalize marijuana. He was not going to raise money to pay off bills and obligations that the city has by encouraging marijuana use. That was the position he took back in 2014. We could have really used his energies, intelligence, craftiness, cleverness.